As a science fiction horror show, Stranger Things has had its fair share of humor to lighten up the mood. Some scenes were written and shot as drama, but they ended up striking viewers as downright comical, either intentionally or not. We have our usual comic relief characters, Steve, Dustin, Erica, and Robin, but this latest season saw humor from some unexpected characters. In today's video, let's dive into some of the funnier Stranger Things moments. First, how the show balances horror with drama and comedy. Many fans do argue about whether the show intended for certain moments to be comedic or not, with a few possibly being goofs, or simply lack of realization of a scene's ridiculousness. Some viewers took to Reddit to share the dramatic scenes that they found laughable that were likely not the expected reaction for moments like Vecna looking like a Grinch or Jason's death. So without further ado, let's discuss the top 10 funniest moments from Stranger Things. First up, Argyle's hilarious commentary. This season introduced Argyle, who brought comedic relief to the plate. He sometimes eased the dire situation with funny quotes like "schmaken," and his association with the Surfer Boy pizza got fans calling the number from his van. Though any humor was needed to balance out the darker and mature nature of Season 4, a few scenes were acted, written, and shot as drama, but ended up striking fans as unintentionally comical. And now, Steve's choking face. When the Dark Finds grabbed Steve, Nancy, and Robin and threw them against the wall, many fans believed Steve's choking face was the funniest thing ever. The terror of being strangled by otherworldly appendages should be frightening, and Steve's face is a bit too comical. One Reddit user wrote, "This scene killed me, and I just imagined they made him do that for hours to get the shot. Absolutely hilarious." Up next, when Eddie says, "okay," before dying. Some fans laughed when Dustin, holding Eddie who's mortally wounded by bats, says they've got to get him to a hospital, and Eddie replies with a passive, "okay." Despite how sad the scene was, the way Eddie said, "okay," just made us laugh. Poor guy. Still, that was quite a way to include a comedic, intentional beat to one of the series' most tragic death scenes. Whether Eddie's goofy "okay" was an intentional gaffe or a designed nod to his offbeat character, fans were amused. Eddie's sacrifice was such a painful but beautifully crafted scene that it's pretty likely that the creators would predict the audience's reaction based on how the character utters his line. And now, Mike being oblivious to a weeping Will. In one of Season 4, Volume 2's most heartbreaking moments, Will gives Mike a small speech about the love he and Eleven share. Will then turns to look out of the Surfer Boy pizza delivery van window and heaves with sobs. Will sure did seem to be having a breakdown, and Mike was just a couple feet away. The fact that Mike doesn't notice Will's misery made many of us giggle. The scene of Will sobbing while facing the window even became a viral meme. Fans pointed out the moment, mentioned that Mike's peripheral vision must be really bad for, and not noticing Will crying since he was literally sobbing and Mike didn't even look back at him. Sure, Mike's a distractible teenager and the broken down van was probably loud, but his apparent callousness gave some viewers a good chuckle. Next is Jason's split. As one of the most hated villains on Stranger Things, Jason got what was coming to him in an unexpected way. He's shown being cut in half as the earth splits beneath him. It was equally satisfying and hilarious in the middle of an otherwise very devastating scene. Many viewers responded to the imaginative cross-sectioning of Jason, saying that it was quite comically shot. While Jason's death was horrific, the way it was done suggests that the creators knew the audience would enjoy watching Jason finally get what he deserved. Now, Vecna resembling the Grinch. Though some monsters are supposed to be terrifying, some viewers can't help noticing that Vecna looked like a familiar comedy villain. Redditor user nroby312 states, "There's so many scenes where I thought Vecna looked like the Grinch, and it killed me every time." We definitely think it's his little potbelly that gives him the Grinch vibes. It certainly was hilarious when they showed his whole body, or a full shot of him walking. While it's unlikely the Duffer Brothers had the Grinch in mind as they designed their half-rotted Vecna, there is somewhat of a resemblance. Up next, Nancy's boards. You have to agree, Nancy's attempt to escape Vecna by prying way too many boards away from a door was ridiculous, especially for one of the smartest characters on the show. One fan wrote, "Like, you removed 2 boards already. Any more isn't necessary. Just climb through and stop wasting time." TV show watchers are familiar with action sequences being drawn out for dramatic effect, but when it's overdone to the point of being illogical, that's when the laughs begin. At the very least, there was no apparent reason for Nancy to remove the ankle-high board. It was just big, unintentional Looney Tunes energy hammering the final nail into the moment's dramatic coffin. And now, goofy Vecna crashed the snowball. The unfortunate Vecna generated unplanned laughs in the snowball sequence where he faces off with Eleven. Many fans couldn't help but crack up anytime Vecna walked in the snowball scene. The squishy-footed villain just couldn't catch a break on this one. Even when Eleven hurls him, the screen cuts to black and then cuts back to Vecna being forced back by Eleven. Not only did it not look right, it was the perfect unintentional comedy timing. Seeing Vecna stunned was simply hilarious. viewers. Next, Nancy forgetting Ted. Nancy accidentally omits her father, Ted Wheeler, from her list of family members she saw dead in Vecna's visions, prompting viewers to think it was funny that she forgot him completely. Knowing how clueless and oblivious Ted usually is in the show, fans were amused he was even left out of Nancy's vision. One fan suggested that Vecna probably did show her father dead, but he just looked like he was napping in his armchair as usual, so Nancy didn't register it as traumatic. Wow. And now, Robin's redundant Molotov. It was extremely comical when Robin lit a Molotov cocktail and threw it at something that was already on fire. Vecna was totally surrounded by flames, so another Molotov could have been redundant. Robin's Molotov cocktail fiasco got the biggest response from fans on social media for being so ridiculous and hilarious at the same time. Film and TV viewers are used to modern action sequence overkill, but Robin's fiery missile hit many viewers as simply too much. On the other hand, the villain was still advancing and not looking terribly uncomfortable, so perhaps the fright in Robin's second throw was in fact justified. And now, it's time for some related news. Firstly, Season 4 broke Netflix's viewership records. Stranger Things has never managed to fail in generating hype, and the volumes of Season 4 were no different. Fans swarmed over to Netflix as Volume 2 dropped on July 1st. With this season, the show has amassed an enormous total of 1.15 billion viewing hours. The only other show to cross the billion benchmark was the Korean crime drama Squid Game. The season broke many other records as well, especially when the series was #1 on Netflix for 91 countries. This was the first time an English-language series has achieved such a mark. It also broke the record for most views within a week of release, and we definitely understand this one. With spoilers coming left and right, who would want to risk it? Next, what we know so far about Season 5. The Duffer Brothers recently confirmed that Season 5 of Stranger Things is in the works. Production hasn't started on it yet, but what we do know is that it'll be the very last season of the series. This may seem disappointing to fans, but alas, all good things must come to an end. An interesting bit of information revealed by the Duffer Brothers themselves is that Season 5 will explore the Upside Down in depth. We might learn about its origins and what it actually represents, so any questions that fans have regarding this will finally be cleared in the next season. It has also been reported that Season 5 will feature a time jump from the events of previous seasons, but how far of a jump that'll be hasn't been decided yet. Either way, it sounds pretty interesting to think about. And finally, will there be a time jump? We all noticed just how grown up the kids looked this season. Each season till now has jumped ahead a year, but keeping everyone's ages in mind, fans think it'd be better for the show to jump ahead 2 years with the 5th season. That way the kids might be able to catch up to their actual ages and not look totally out of place. Season 4 was literally all over the place, with Hopper and Joyce in Russia, half the gang out in California, and the other half back in the doomed Hawkins. Sure, it jumped between all the settings pretty smoothly, but we still missed the gang together. Good news is Season 5 will focus on keeping everyone together in Hawkins. We can't wait. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you agree with our list? Which Stranger Things moment did you find the funniest? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.